Welcome to the Industry Angel Podcast. We hear from the best business minds across the globe. Entrepreneurs, social influencers, marketing mavens, and sales rock stars. We've got them all. Here comes your weekly dose of inspiration with your host, Ian Farah.
Welcome to episode 108 of the Industry Angel. Apologies if episodes have been a bit later than usual. This volunteering project has really took over and I've been traveling quite a bit, training teams and doing some consulting. So yeah, I get it. I've been a bit later. But remember, you can leave me a voice message via the homepage on industryangel.com. Just plug your earbuds into the laptop. I might even play it on an episode if you keep it clean. And remember, actually, I will pull together another listener episode where you guys can leave me a message about a challenge or something where you've faced kind of adversity when something's not really gone to plan. All I ask is that you nail it in 90 seconds and I'll bunch them all together in a nice episode. I'll also be doing something similar for Christmas. Yes, I did say the C word. So if anyone would like to leave a message for me, our listeners, or share a thought, again, please do so. If you hit the Industry Angel homepage, you'll see a little button there and you can literally just record me a message. I'll do some shout outs next time, I think. So let's hear from today's guest. Today we have a hip hop entrepreneur. Welcome to the Industry Angel, Mugzy.
Hey man, what's going on? And hello from Australia. So, you know, we learned after you guys, man, from the Brits.
Listen, when you say Australia, it's bigger than Britain, of course.
Yeah, but no, mate, man, you've had better music come out of there. Like, come on, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, obviously Queen and stuff. So, I think we got to pick our game up, man, because you guys just live up to the expectation of a true rock and roll, man. And where would hip hop be without rock and roll, man, as well?
Did you mention the Rolling Stones in there?
Of course, man. Yeah, like I have to, you know, they're my number one rock and roll band, man, and I learned that from my father. He was, you know, he's always been a Mick Jagger and Keith Richards fan, and it was funny. You know, last year I was on this radio station, and he was like, look, why don't I, you know, drive you up there and stuff, like, can sort of spend like a father-dad sort of son thing. And I said, you know, why don't you come on the station as well? You know, sit down with me and stuff. He said, no, I'll get stage fright and all this, but I'll sit in my car on the outside and listen to you. And I sort of gave him a shout out and asked the radio presenter to, you know, play 3 Rolling Stones songs. And
all right.
And I didn't hear the end of it when I was driving home in the car with him. Like, he was like, oh my God, you know, hopefully everyone heard that. And, you know, and I was just like, yeah, just, that's the great thing that your son does, you know. So, yeah.
So where are you, Mugzy, in Australia? Whereabouts?
Yeah, I'm from Sydney, man. So, like the Harbour Bridge, Opera House, New South Wales, man. So, yeah, we're in summer at the moment, and today was about 38 degrees. So it wasn't that pretty, man. It was like very sticky of just heat, man. And yeah, I love the summer, man. But when it gets a bit too hot, that's when you get a bit aggressive, and you're just like, oh, this is not going so well, you know. So yeah, like we get a summer Christmas instead of a winter Christmas, man.
Yeah. Well, don't rub it in too much because it's freezing over here. So listen, I'm really glad you reached out because, you know, just as we were talking offline there, you know, we call this a diverse business podcast. We've had, you know, adventurers on, motivational people. We've had soccer chairmen, as I was saying. So having you on the show I'm really intrigued and really interested because hip hop entrepreneurship is becoming a really big space. But I think that's kind of once they made it as a hip hop artist, they then kind of come into things like fashion and sports and tech and drinks and that kind of stuff. So it was great that you reached out and I thought, yeah, let's do it. Let's get Mugzy on. So let's wind it back though, because I really want to know kind of what inspired you to get into this, you know, why, what was your calling?
Yeah, man. Back to my origin roots, kind of. Yeah, so I'm 27, man, and I've been doing hip hop music for about or like investing myself in the entertainment industry for about 13 years, man. I started when I was like late 14, early 15. And that was sort of the early thousands era where, you know, you had artists like 50 Cent, Eminem, like, you know, Dr. Dre, all that kind of stuff. And as a teenager, man, before I found hip hop, I didn't really have an identity. I was sort of, I guess you could say, trying to find that niche, or but like like as an outcast kid. But yeah, I just didn't like have like my calling card yet, and I feel that kind of gave an outlook for, not an outlook, but I mean a niche for the other kids to, you know, bully and pick on kind of thing, which uh, like it was physically, like abusively and emotionally as well. So when at that age, in that adolescence years, you know, as a teenager, you're in the mindset of the now. You're not really into the future of like this. We all grow up. It's just a learning thing, you know. We all become mature. You kind of think in the now, so that's where like suicide rate goes up, and you know all these kids are, you know, taking themselves when things get a bit too rough. And I fell into that trap at a young age, man. You know, I was like, well, if the world doesn't want me, why should I be here? And I was in and out of like psychologists and stuff, and you know my family didn't want to lose a son, but they didn't know what to do. And I would look at these guys on like TV and my radio, like BET, MTV, and VH1, and like that they just had like this aura, like this godlike mentality of, you know, they could walk into any situation, or like any you know atmosphere, and the power in their lyrics, and um, their anger in their wordplay, and just the way they looked. And I wanted to be like that. I didn't want to be that scared kid anymore. And I guess you can say there was like very therapeutic watching these guys. But I thought, you know, why don't I give that a try? Because at the time in 2000, about like 2003 or something. I can't remember the year it came out, but when 8 Mile dropped, every kid wanted to be a battle rapper. Like every kid was like, "Yeah, I want to try the whole Eminem thing." But with me, I really said, "Why not try and sit down and do this?" But it was crazy because, you know, like over the years of time, I've really invested myself with this culture of not just music wise, but like learning where it's come from and where it is now. And there's a lot of artists out there that just do it for the sake of it and don't really treat it like a history, or like a culture. And when I do a lot of interviews now and stuff, they're like, "Yo, Mugzy, how do you were born in 91, and you know hip hop was born in 73. It's like, how do you know, you know, like 30 years, you know, 20 to 30 years up to 91 till now?" And it's like, look, it's like it's a history. It's literally just who I've embedded. Like if I wanted to jump into something, I didn't want to take the cliche route of just doing it because it's cool. I wanted to do it because it was very therapeutic, but it was also a culture that I really respected. And this is where I am now. Like, and yeah, I'm happy to say to myself, I'm very situated in it. I guess you can say I'm certified in it, which is nice. Yeah, yeah,
So are you saying that are you all in? So you're 27 now, and you know we've got to pay
yeah.
bills here. So are you all in as an artist, or do you have to work along the side until you can kind of transition across into a full time, you know, paying
Cra-
the bills?
Crazy enough is through my years of music, when I was 14, 15, I made like a rough like demo, and it had like one or two tracks on it. And there was a local youth agency called MAD, Musicians Making a Difference. And they were just starting off at the time, and they were doing like little promo runs around my area, or coming to my high school and saying, "Hey, you know, we're like a youth organization for teenagers, and you know we do a lot of hip hop programs to sort of give back to the community, but um, give them more positive outlook on their life." And I did a few courses with them, but then when they saw what I was doing in my solo career, they thought, you know, why don't we get, you know, Mugzy on board, volunteer at first, and now I've got a position there with them, and it's just nice, man. Like it's nice where music has taken me. So that's kind of my source of income, man. Is doing youth work while I do music on the side, and also like with helping teenagers, man. So I guess that's just that's where hip hop's taken me, man, and it's crazy because when I walked through the doors there now, I saw the stepping stones of them coming up from a small business to where they are now, man, and it's just it's a lovely thing, yeah.
It's interesting you mentioned small business there, because I guess as an artist you have to run like a business in terms of marketing yourself, maybe reaching out and speaking to people like myself and trying to, kind of raise the profile, maybe collaborating with people. So do you literally run this like a business? And what I mean by that is, do you have a kind of strategy, a marketing plan, a social media kind of um, plan to grow your following?
Absolutely. It's funny you say that, man, because a lot of people, when they check out my page, or they see what I've done with like interviews and radio play and acting work and youth work and stuff, I always get the question, you must have a manager or a street team or a label funding you all this, because you've just done so much in the course of your career. Like not one man can do that. And I always say, man, like it was literally me from day one. I like majority of my friends aren't in the music game. They're doing different outlets, and haven't had a manager. I've done it all from day one, man. I haven't had really any little to no support. It's just I guess in a sense I've found it all my opportunities through social media and networking and just shaking hands with people more than I guess you can say getting someone else to find it for me. When I can just sit back and hang out with my friends on the weekend. But we've strategizing and stuff, man. I feel that like you can't just make an album or a mixtape and let it sit there and wait for the world to see it. You have to push it out there as much as you can. And I sort of got into the mentality of like when I was starting off, man. A lot of artists were like, we've never heard of Mugzy before. Give us a good reason why, we should check out your stuff. It had this ego kind of thing about, like we've never heard of him. Like, so why should we take 5 seconds out of our day to check him out? So when I'm more developed as an artist now, when I get these kids coming to me and they've probably got one follower on SoundCloud, or their mixtape is not up to date or something, they're like, "Yo, I know you probably won't take the time to check this out, but Muggsy, can you give me the time of day?" And I'm always willing to check them out, to give them a share, to give my criticism and my feedback and stuff. And it's just that builds respect, that builds connections, and I don't have an ego about me to jump myself onto any opportunity, man. Whether it's big, small, medium, I'm willing to put my name down because it's a cross promotion. They're willing to push my name out there. I'm willing to help them, and that's where I am now, man. I've just with so much radio play and stuff, is just having that strategy of no ego and giving everyone a fair chance, man. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I think that goes a long way in business. We talk a lot on the show about being humble and having values and just doing the right thing, and it does take you far. I think you've got to play the long game. It's a slow burn. You might hear people say, "Wow, you're kind of an overnight success," but they don't see the 20 years of hard graft you put in before that. So I was just thinking about that album that you mentioned, Muggsy. So did you kind of record that yourself and then pay for all that yourself and then kind of push to promote it, or how does it normally work? Do people normally try to get a record label and do that?
Yeah, so when Understand Me came out, I was doing youth gigs, like little sort of youth gigs and like bar gigs around at the time. And the producer that's on it, Pablo, he found me at a youth center gig, and he knew that I was creating a little buzz, and he said, why don't you jump on board, and like I've got a home studio, why don't we create something together? And I've always tried the producing stuff, man. Like, I've tried to, dabble with it, but it's a whole different ball game. Like, I mean, I don't. It's funny. It's like I can concept the song and write it and like have the, I guess you can say, overall picture of it. But when it comes to sitting down with Pro Tools or, you know, like just carving up the beats from scratch and stuff, I need someone else to do it, man. I don't have the patience with it. So I've got my own, producer, Pablo, who I'm good friends with. And that's a problem, man, because a lot of artists get into these studios and it's a business. It's literally just an in and out job. You pay me the money and then do a quick rough sample and then come out like it's like a rush. But I say to artists, when you come into the game, find a good producer that's on a ground level of a friendship, and your work and your longevity will become more better than just going to any recording studio and just paying for a service, because it's an in and out job with the professional ones. I've done it before. um, but uh, sorry, man. I lost what your question was. How did I? Did I? Sorry, man. I was
No,
talking about the album.
yeah, no. You answered it. I was just basically interested in like, do you kind of self fund, because I think in business a lot of times people they kind of look for investment. They think, I'm going to start a business. How can I get investment? Should that be a small business loan? Might they look to get some sort of venture capitalist, angel investing money to come into the business? Or a lot of time people then just say, look, I'm just going to self fund this. I'm just going to kind of, knuckle down for 6 months, keep things really tight and try to self-fund it. So I just kind of thought, from an album point of view, was it pretty similar in business where you could either pay for it yourself to get the album done, or then do you look for a record label to pay it for you and then they take royalties?
No, no. So I used my job, man, to fund my album, and then when Understand Me dropped, my next step was, okay, I've done plenty of gigs, but I haven't had as much as radio or interviews or like little outsets besides doing gigs. Like I so what happened was, when I released it, I did a gig back in, what was it, 2013, I think, called Urban Star, and it was a talent quest looking for. It had this cliche catchphrase, looking for the next big thing, and it was catered towards R&B and hip hop artists, and there was three judges on the night, and one of them was a guy called Marcus Pennell, who, rest in peace, he passed away 2 years ago, kidney failure, but um, he was a producer for Def Jam, and Def Jam, to a lot of music and hip hop people, is like one of the biggest like labels. They started off Jay-Z's career, Kanye's, and Rihanna's career, and he was going back and forth to US and Australia. He had a holiday house like on the beaches and stuff, trying to look for the next big thing. And I put my name down, and I was one of the last contestants to go up, and everyone did covers instead of, except for me. I performed one of my like original tracks, one of my original tracks called "Keep on Rapping," and two of the judges scored me with a 0, which I don't know why. And he was giving me the Simon Cowell treatment. He was just like sitting there, not saying anything. And I thought, okay, if he's worked with people like Jay-Z and all this sort of stuff, there's no way. If two of the judges have given me a 0, he's clearly giving me a 0. And he gave me a 10 out of 10. And he was like, look, I don't like covered material because it doesn't show the artist's true potential. If they can write or actually carve a song or not. I've liked that you've come on stage and you've really done original material and showed your true, like, art form, and had a project instead of using someone else's project. And we went out to lunch like a few weeks, like, no, I think it was a month later, just to discuss the industry and, like, I don't know, discuss like how developed I was in my career and that. And he basically told me, look, just get on anything, like basically push yourself to a limit of, it doesn't matter if it's gigs, busking, radio, or even if it's a magazine that's got like 3 followers, but they're willing to give you a chance to put you in an article. Just do anything to get the Mugzy brand out there. And that's where I've stuck with from day one, man. It's just I took his advice of, get on anything possible, or which can showcase my name, and even invest money into it with like travels, or distribution with like CDs and stuff, or distribute it through social media and stuff, just anything. And yeah, that's how I built my 15,000 fan base and stuff, man, just over time and over years and stuff, and my
Yeah,
loyalty as well.
I love
Mm.
that, the hard grind, because you've just got to put the legwork in. If you think about people who've succeeded, there's very very few that haven't succeeded through just hard work.
Mm.
Sometimes you might look over the shoulder and think, yeah, that guy was lucky, or right place, right time. It's rare that happens. People have actually put the hard yards in, and dug in, and have had the steel to continue to go. Because if that third judge had give you a zero, would you have quit just then, or would you have kept plugging away?
No, I would have kept plugging away, man. But the scare that's the scary thing about the industry as well, because we all know that it's you got to grind for that dream, but
Hmm.
you're beating almost the near impossible in a sense. Like there's no guarantee that someone's going to give you a shot. That's why I always say you got to do it at the end of the day because you love it. But just keep grinding as well. And there's a lot of artists, man, when they hear that industry professional, or they get the chance with that industry professional, and they're like, look, you got to work on your craft, or I wasn't really feeling that. Yeah, I know, I've seen a lot of artists just be like, okay, yeah, my time's up, drop the mic, and walk away from it. But I feel like, in a sense of, if you're willing to drop the mic at like that, that close, sort of like that early, why start with it to begin with. I feel like not everyone is going to say yes. You just have to keep pushing. Or if one outlet doesn't work out, if music doesn't work out, then go to producing, or go to be a stage crew or something. Like, if you love music, just find a different outlet, but still keep your backup thing. And I don't know if that makes sense, man, but find a different outlet, but continue it with the industry of what you originally started with in music. Yeah.
Sure. What I was interested to ask is, there's going to be people out there, as you say, who are grinding, and you're going to have to differentiate yourself from them. So, how would you describe your style, Muggsy? What are you doing a little bit differently from the other kind of people around you do?
Well, personally, man, I grew up with the sort of '90s and early 2000s era, but of also like lyrics and having a message and having bars and stuff. And I always get the question that there's artists out there that you have to reevaluate yourself, or or get with the current themes. And in a sense, there's a flip side to that of getting with the current themes. One, is you can still keep your originality of what you started with, but if you completely go a left field, and it's like completely doing what today's music is, and you're just following the loops and the trends and everything, in my opinion, I feel like it really loses what the true artist is. That's why you have such greats like Eminem or Wu Tang Clan or Rakim and stuff, because they don't need to follow these niche trends. Like they're so grounded in their originality that it has that originality that has that longevity. And I've stuck with that from day one, man. I've stuck with um like an era where bars, like having a message, and a voice was everything. It wasn't about like the flashy cars and the girls and all that sort of stuff, man. It was just I said, look, from day one, if this can carve me to have like a message and have a voice, I'm going to use that, and not really follow the trends, man. Just like stick to what that pure hip hop sounds like. And it's crazy, man, because I thought that would have been my downfall, of just like, oh, he's sticking with his ways. But even in 2018, man, like when I rock shows, or rock the mic or just like network. They're just like, dude, we need hip hop like that back again. Like, we need more people to really realize where that comes from. And I was like, dude, like that's just because I've listened to artists that have longevity, man, and haven't sold themselves to, like follow trends and be fake and stuff, man. Um, I don't know if that sounded a bit negative, man, but yeah, that's just how I look at it.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't sound negative at all. I think you just what we're talking about there is just being authentic, just being real. This is who I am. I just don't want to try and emulate somebody else. I just want to kind of be me. Really, I think that's probably what you're saying there, which is great. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what the sort of culture was built on, man, was, uniqueness. And like when I was younger, just starting off, I really mimicked what M did with, the Slim Shady and the Marshall Mathers LP and stuff. And um, like I would see these guys like, KRS One and LL Cool J and, Public Enemy and stuff. And they would always say in their interviews, you can have your influences, but
Hmm.
if you're mimicking what they're doing and you haven't found your true calling card or what you want to express yourself through this, then you're not going to be very highly respected with music in general or this culture. And I was like, look, I love M, but I've got to find my own path. And that's why I wrote about like why I want to make it in this industry, or my depression days, or just to have a message to get back to the next one that needs a hand up and stuff. And um, yeah, I've just written with that from day one. I guess like they were my sort of wake up call in the sense of just like get your act together and not like mimic what Eminem does. We already have one Eminem. We don't have a Mugzy, So it's like, yeah.
So, thinking about your dream venue, then, Muggsy, right? Okay, where do you want to get to? Where would you like to perform?
Man, if I could like skip aside from hip hop, if I can, I'll tell you the other night, man. We have a channel over here called Max Music Australia, and they always play classic hits and stuff. And they had this program on, which was last year, of the Rolling Stones playing in Havana, Cuba. And I was like, dude, these guys are like 76 or something and still rocking out and everything. If I can get to that age, man, where I'm just selling out, like well, not selling out stands, but like just getting up on the mic and stuff, man. It's just that almost brought tears to my eyes, man, of just knowing how like legend and rock stars they are, man. Like that's a true musician, and I kind of look at that atmosphere and think, man, if I can ever get to that that dream, I'll never take it for granted. So my number one platform, man, would just be, I don't know, that level, just to have that longevity of, I'm not sitting in a retirement home, man. Still, just like rocking out to the music, man. And I don't know what's in Keith or any of the Stones' blood, man, but it's just they must be created by NASA or something, man. They have something we don't know, because like they're just like on a different level. Yeah, man.
What about over in the States then? Because whenever I think of hip hop, I'm kind of always thinking about, some of the artists over there. Is that really the kind of the dream to get over there and collaborate?
Yeah, 100%, man. We like I've I've never known the origin. Like a lot of Americans love Australians for some reason. I think because of why Crocodile Dundee came out, and then I don't know, or still Steve Irwin. Like, but they never tell us why. Like, I mean, it's like we love you guys down there, and it's like we're just regular people, man. But it's like, why do you love us so much? It's like, oh, I've never heard a correct answer of why they love it, even with so yeah, man. Like I think because the industry for hip hop was so big over there, what I'm planning on doing is just really um, carving up my resume of just like gigs and interviews and stuff, and tallying it all up. So when I do go over there, so far I've dropped two releases. Working on a third at the moment, and have all this experience behind me. So like it's if I do go over there and walk through these label doors or these high up doors, it's kind of like, wow, he's really done the hard yards. He's not just had an album, he's got all this this exposure and feedback and stuff behind him. So I really treat every little step of the way like a resume and what I've got myself on, and that's kind of like my package with the two albums aside. Like that's my holy grail, kind of in a sense, to be like when I go to these meetings, it will open their eyes to say, wow, like okay, he's got the records to say that this is, this is how much effort and promotion he knows how to do, and more than just walking in with just an album and saying, hey, sign me, with no backup behind it. So I've had like a kind of structured plan of how to do it. Yeah.
Sure. So think about some of those hip hop artists then that you might see who, I don't know, who might have made it big as yet, but they're kind of up and coming. Is there something that you look for when you're watching an artist play live?
With me, man, I think not just hip hop, man, but any sort of artist, whether it be rock, R&B, or pop, I feel, in my opinion, I'm very like picky of artists that I would really take the time to go out to a CD shop and purchase a CD. Like I mean, like I said before, I do support every single artist, but I mean to actually go out and buy a ticket or like really invest and love that artist, it has to have the whole package for me of what they're saying in their lyrics, or how dedicated they are to the music, even their imagery of um, like especially with hip hop, man. When I look at guys like Jay-Z or like Rakim or Nas or something, they you just type them in on Google and they have that look of hip hop. It just screams it. And no disrespect, but I mean, like you would type in something like a Lil or a Young or a Shorty of now, and it's kind of like that's not hip hop to me, man. That's corny kind of stuff. So I need the whole package, man, of what the musician's saying. Like with rock and roll, like the Rolling Stones, they look like rock stars compared to I don't know, Casual Joe. That's probably doing it. I don't know, man. But yeah, me, I just need that whole look, or R&B, Alicia Keys or something compared to I don't know, man. But yeah, like I always come down to, I just say, man, you need a whole package to fill the void with me. Yeah.
It's interesting that the fashion and the look side of it, is that something you have to kind of, do you have to kind of work at that bit, Muggsy?
I mean, there's a difference between looking corny and actually really liking it. I mean, especially in hip hop, I've seen so many, like, because it was built on an African American domain of culture. So when it comes to sort of, white Caucasians doing it, it's like, dude, are you just pulling the whole Eminem thing? Like, are you really, respected where, this comes from? Or are you trying to be, I hear everything, man. Like, you're trying to be black, you're trying to be a thug, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I really love this. Like, and I feel that, there is kind of the whole wigger kind of phase out there.
Hmm.
I've known guys which is like, they do the whole yo yo and stuff, and it's like, dude, like, get out of my way, you corny. But it, it, you know,
Don't beat around the bush, mate. Just get it out.
yeah, yeah. So it's just like, man, it's corny as hell. I don't know if the UK has wiggers over there, man, but
Yeah, a little
um,
bit. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I feel like that's a big no-no with whites in hip hop, man, because it kind of gives me a bad rep, because when you have that behind you, it's like when it comes to real artists like me or Action Bronson, or like, like white artists that really take it seriously, you always have the majority of society falling back on that. And it's like, yo, he's doing the whole Uyghur thing, and it's like, dude, those guys are such an embarrassment for us trying to make a voice in this domain of culture. So yeah, with the imagery, man, I think it needs to be like it's kind of like in a sense of, you have to show your appreciation for it,
Yeah.
but not like, how do I, like, for example, like if I saw, man, this is probably a stab in the dark, but if I saw like a businessman in a suit,
Mm.
and like he rocked up to me, and he was like, yo, I'm a rapper, I couldn't take it seriously, like because I'd be like, Be like, dude, like, where's like your sneakers, or like, where's like your, like your Zoo York jacket or something like that. It's just, there's a certain look of this culture that needs to be evaluated. And it's like, dude, well, a businessman can do it as well. It's like, yeah, they probably could, but I mean, like, you need to have that, in my opinion, that look as well. Like, you can't just be casual Joe off the street and be like, yeah, I'm a rapper sort of thing. I don't know. And
No,
being around the bush too much.
no, I
Yeah.
totally understand it. It's funny because I was thinking exactly the same as you were talking there, because quite often in your early career, sometimes you do have to kind of conform, and you maybe wear a shirt and tie and a suit. Back in the day when I was kind of trying to grow the corporate ladder, and sometimes that wasn't me, but I had to wear
Mm,
that suit to represent what I was trying to be. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And there's
Y-
just coming a point recently where I can kind of just think, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to be me. But yeah, that it's amazing what clothing and fashion kind of does represent. I guess you could take it back to punk rock and our skinheads. It was all trying to show what you kind of represent and what culture you're interested in, what music you're interested in. Was reflecting in the style, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about music, man, is when like you look at someone and they'll be into rock and roll, or grow their hair out heaps long,
Mm.
or wear the band t-shirts, or you look over to the left and it'll be like hip hop, and they'll like tilt their hat, like flip their hat back, or wear sneakers and stuff. It's like they didn't just wake up and do that, man. Like, that's carved through music and art, man. Like, that's who they're listening to, and I feel like that's just how powerful music is in a
Mm.
society, of just how it can carve your whole persona and characteristics and imagery just from sound. Like, I mean, it started. I don't know when music started, man. Probably in like ancient times, man. But I mean, like, to where it is now, where it's like a kid or an adult can look at an artist and be like, I like the way that he's rocking out that guitar, or I like how Keith Richards has like bandanas on. I'm gonna rock a bandana, and it's like, dude, that's how powerful music is. Of just, it carves your everyday life into the self being you are, man. And
Sure.
yeah, I think it's just crazy, man. I love it. Yeah.
So that's been a really awesome insight, Muggsy, into kind of an artist and your journey. Is there anything I haven't asked you that you might want to get out? Because I'm just so mindful, like I only know what I know. So is there anything that you've got that you want to leave us with?
Oh man, personally, I'm just gonna end it off with, I've always wanted to I've wanted to see you came in and Abbey Road, and like, dude, like, everyone's gonna be like, dude, Muggsy, how do you know this rock and roll stuff, man? Like the Stones and stuff. I want to go over there and just like live it all up on the rock star life, man. So you kind of have it
So
better
we'll see you
than I
soon,
do,
yeah?
man. Yeah, yeah. But I got one question to ask you, man. It's probably stemming away from business and that, but I watch a lot of UK TV shows and movies, and the term blood. Is that where you're from, man? Like, do you use that term? It's like how Australians use mate. Do you guys use blood over there, or is that more
Nah,
London?
nah.
Huh?
Yeah, maybe London. Yeah, maybe the kind of, um,
Yeah.
yeah. I find that is that not more a US term?
No, not really. Like, I've seen it in like a lot of UK TV shows and movies. Man, they use the term blood, BLUD, and I'm just like, man, that's, I don't know. For some reason, that's so cool. In my opinion, I don't
That's
know.
so cool.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It sounds more in your face than mate. It'd be just like, get out of my face, mate, and it's like, oh no, yuck. It's more just be like, get out of my face, blood, or something. It's like, oh man, I wouldn't want to mess with that guy. Like, it's, yeah. Just ever since I heard it, I was like, man, every UK that I come in touch with, I have to pop that question, man, to see if it's real or if it's just for
Muggsy,
the
you may
movies.
be asking the wrong guy here. I'm not down with the kids anymore.
Yeah.
Listen, do you know what I really would like to do? Would be maybe to listen to some of your music. Is it possible we could play a bit of your music on the way out?
Yeah, 100%, man. So, I can't remember what tracks I sent you. If I sent you some tracks,
Hmm.
uh, but yeah,
Yeah,
majority of my tracks.
we'll sort that off
Yeah,
offline then, and we'll end this podcast with a bit of Muggsy. Yeah.
100%. Thanks once again, man.
Ah,
And
no
I had a lot
worries.
of fun doing this. But hey, you have another fan, friend, follower here in Australia, man. So I wish you nothing but the best for this podcast, man. Like, and like all the artists and whoever comes onto the show, man. 100%.
Ah, good stuff. So we'll be watching from the wings, and when you absolutely smashing it, we'll remember that we had you on the show. So that's awesome.
Absolutely, man. Hopefully, I can get Keith Richards and stuff on board, man. Onto their level. Yeah.
Nice one. Okay, Muggsy, take care, mate.
Take it easy, man. Bye.
So what did we take from that? Our Muggsy there. Well, what I heard was a guy who had a dream, a calling, a passion to pursue a career. He's grinded hard, faced rejection, got himself back up, dusted himself back down, kept on pushing. Really humble guy, isn't he? And he stayed true to the industry. He's helped others when asked, supported people who might not be as far through their journey as Muggsy is. He shared advice and gave feedback on their work. He managed himself like a business. You heard he doesn't have a manager. He does all his own kind of marketing and social media and promotion. He's looked to collaborate and learn from others. He wants to express the true person rather than kind of emulate someone else. And I love that. We've talked about that many times on the show. I'm all for being you and not trying to copy other people's styles or personality or the language they use. And this helps, to prove my passion, because we can learn from others no matter how diverse you think their chosen field is from yours. I don't need to be interviewing successful, in inverted commas, CEOs every week and churning out the corporate BS and playing buzzword bingo and talking about their top 5 business books. I'm determined to expose you to new people and ways of thinking. Now, I know not every episode will be for everyone. Maybe there's a little bit self-indulgent from my part, to interview a kind of diverse crew. But hey, we're all on a journey, and let's get on the ride together, open our minds to new ways of thinking. What's the worst that could happen? I'm Ian Farah, this is the Industry Angel, and thanks for listening.
Started from nothing, trying to make something. People push us down and we keep on running. Walk through the storm, walk through the wall. Bust through, say we're taking it all. We're going for our dream, can't stop this team. Rushing in and we changing this scene. You think you can stop our movement glory, but we're standing tall in the story. I'm sick of these people being disrespectful. Can't see we're working hard, it's a mental. All around the clock, it's never endful. You can't do the same, so don't step two. Us in a crew, step one, step two. We wanted this from the start, so we're coming through. In your street, bringing that hardcore beat, making that movement from under your feet. From always something new, haters what you gonna do. You're gonna look stupid on what you tried to prove, because we're pumped in on your block. Sending out Hip Hop message when we're ready to drop. Yeah.
You can't stop us, nah, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, bro, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, we're unstoppable.
It's our mission and we're ready to rock. Yeah.
You can't stop us, nah, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, bro, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, we're unstoppable.
Forward momentum and we ain't gonna stop.
Classify me an addict, cause that forward momentum, I gotta have it, have at it. Not half as good as the next man, 10 times bro, gotta grab it by the scruff of the neck, ring it out. End up as a wreck, work it out. Gotta keep it in check, sing it out. That's the name of the game, that's what life's about. To reflect with the best of them, that's what you like to call life's tests, I guess. When you cry, when you're pressed, I said, that's what I like to call life's test, you mesh. Ah, what a sesh. But if you still see rain, then you need to digest what I put in your brains like a pill. It'll make you insane unless you kill what put you here. Who you think you are? You're the highest man here? Well, that's a start. Look around, take it in, we take it all. Now sit back, watch begin. You can't stop us, nah, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, bro, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, we're unstoppable.
It's our mission and we're ready to rock, yeah.
You can't stop us, no, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, bro, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, we're unstoppable.
Forward momentum and we ain't gonna stop. Run this town like Jay-Z and Kanye, me and Pablo, doing it the Aussie way. The temptation with fire in our eyes, getting closer to that one true prize. From the honesty of a hip-hop prodigy, I keep telling myself, nothing's gonna stop me for that dream to make it come true. That's why we speak the truth in the booth.
Yeah, we spit truth, call us the criers. We sing loudly, so call us the choir. Me and Mugzy, born in the fire. Notepad and pen, yeah, that's all we require. In the booth, to spit truth. And the crowd to rock, raise your hands to the roof. You can't stop us now, so turn up the track, let's hear it loud. Yeah, you can't stop us, no, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, bro, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, we're unstoppable.
It's our mission and we're ready to rock, yeah.
You can't stop us, no, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, bro, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, we're unstoppable.
Forward momentum and we ain't gonna stop.